Meeting to order. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Commissioner Carl Margolis is here, Commissioner Francesco, our Vice Chair Chuck Wilcox, Commissioner Hano, Commissioner Frost, and myself. Absent is Commissioner Mark Ciliano. Comments from the public, we don't have anybody here. No. Sarah, so anybody?
There's one, they don't have their name on.
No haters, okay. Correspondence. Chief Jensen, you might have a couple things you want.
Yeah.
And little others.
There are a few, that I'd like to read. Start out with a few thank yous. So we won, it's in reference to Officer Jason Rankin. It's just a general thank you to him and everybody at OSPD. It's from a Sandy and Adam, 201 Main Street. Don't really have a lot of relevance what that one was for.
The noise, the road.
Oh, yeah, okay. So some of you may know, this was a surprise to me. There's trolley tracks buried beneath Main Street. And they're causing a little bit of a rumble strip situation as the asphalt settles. So it's causing a lot of noise on Main Street. So Officer Rankin went and met them, kind of acknowledged the problem and relayed some information that we had just received, that DOT is paving Main Street from Old Boston Post Road to Route 1 coming in May. It's gonna take about 4 days. So that should solve that problem and putting a different type of asphalt down. So Officer Rankin was able to relay that to them. And then the other issue was speeding. It's a common request for enforcement on Main Street. So Officer Rankin went and got the speed trailer. You saw it out there in front of the island as you come into downtown. So he put it there, and it's been good, and it's been slowing people down. It's a nice little acknowledgement of what your speed is and a little reminder. So that's what that thank you is about. You did a good job as always. This one is for also to Officer Sarah Solano. It's a lady, Tayera. She was just thankful for the way and compassion that Officer Solano had for her. She had a call for service and she needed some assistance, and Officer Solano went above and beyond. So the lady wrote a nice thank you with Sarah's favorite color, because she actually was wearing pink at the time. So it was nice, just a nice little thank you. We put both in their file. These other two I just wrote today. And this is a little more dramatic. I don't know if everybody saw, we had a water rescue on Saturday, right in the middle of our Little League home opener. So PD was responding, FD was responding with both their boats to rescue a kayaker who got capsized and was stuck on a sandbar and was about to get swept out. So after that, Deputy Chief Will Heine from the fire department got a hold of me, sent me a nice email, and he wanted to make sure I was aware of what a great job the dispatchers did. Our dispatchers got the call, and they were able to kind of pinpoint an exact location in the water where the swimmer was at that point. They translated through the cell phone. The guy was using his cell phone. He was actually on the sandbar at the time, but he was up to about his neck, and he was hypothermic. So Dispatcher Adams was able to use the GPS location, pinpoint where he was, then he overlaid it in a map and sent it to all the fire officers responding on their cell phones. So each one of them had an exact location of where this man was. So they were able to launch and go directly to, it wasn't much of a search and rescue, it was more of a direct response to exactly where the person was. And he was right on money. As you guys saw the video or not, fireboat gets to him within 12 minutes, pulls alongside him, throws him a buoy, drives him into the boat, and we were able to get him to shore and to get to the hospital quickly. He was hypothermic. So I'll just read. There's two two dispatchers that are involved in this, and I'm just gonna read one of them because they're pretty much a duplicate. It was dispatcher supervisor Dan Adams and dispatcher Lee Offner. So this just reads, I'm ready to formally commend you for your exceptional performance during the serious marine incident at the mouth of the Connecticut River on April 25th, 2026. Information relayed to me by Deputy Fire Chief Will Heine highlighted your critical role in the successful outcome of this incident. Your ability to efficiently gather, interpret, and transmit vital information from a distressed caller was instrumental in guiding responding units. In particular, your cooperation of auto aid resources, real-time communication with the caller, and the rapid transmission of precise location coordinates directly to responding personnel significantly reduced response time and enhanced operational effectiveness. Your actions allowed Marine units to quickly locate the victim, who was in an extremely dangerous situation. The individual was in frigid water, severely hypothermic, and at risk of being carried away by the tide. The accuracy and timelessness of the information you provided enabled a focused response that resulted in a successful rescue within minutes. It is clear that your professionalism, composure under pressure, and technical proficiency directly contributed to a saving of a life. The incident exemplifies the critical importance of skilled emergency communications personnel that reflects great credit upon you and the Old Saybrook Police Department Communications Division. Please accept my sincere appreciation for your outstanding service and dedication to public safety. And it's from me. If I had time, I would invite both dispatchers here to read this to them. Neither of them have even seen it yet, I don't believe, right?
Leah was in today.
Okay.
She did see it, but.
So it just came about, but I really thought, it just happened a few days ago and I really want to get in front of you. But I'm going to recognize each of them in my office as well. But that's all we have for correspondence.
I didn't have any correspondence with anybody else.
Nothing.
Okay. Moving on to discussion and possible action regarding meeting minutes. I entertain a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes from March 23rd, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Just Mark's not here. I entertain a motion to accept the special meeting minutes from March 31st, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Thanks, Jen, for the work on this.
Okay, moving on, executive reports, if you're ready.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start with the fiscal year 25-26 operating budget, like we do every month. So me and Jen are constantly trying to project what we're spending and what our surplus is and what we got left for the year. Right now, based on the numbers that were in the agenda packet, we are in our 20th payroll week, about 26 for the year. So starting with field services, with the salary account, that's usually our biggest line item there. And right now, we are projecting that we are going to have, by the end of the year, if we continue on the spending track, $78,830 surplus in that account. Second largest line item is the field service vacation day coverage, which originally budgeted for $284,000. Year to date, we've only spent $88,000. This one's a little harder to project because we are coming into some busier seasons. We did put an email out to our personnel that they are allowed to cash out some of their vacation time, so that gives us a little more of an expense in these months. But even then, we're still projecting that we're probably going to have about $130,000 surplus in the vacation day coverage account, which should balance out all the other accounts that are in the negative that you see. We overspend the extra personnel a little bit, and we kind of do that knowing that we're going to have a surplus elsewhere. The extra personnel is harder to predict, as those are incidents where the officers are even being called in from off duty or held over for the finished cases or for extra personnel reasons. And then obviously the big negative, the negative $91,000, that's the workers' compensation, and that's got transferred. That's why it's negative, right? They got transferred to general expenditures. So it shows up as a negative here, when in reality it's really not. We're just moving money. So I'm gonna move on to the support services. Unless anybody has any questions about any of the line items in field services. So sports services, same thing, we're on week 20 of the payroll, 26 weeks. The salary, I'm projecting that we're gonna have a surplus of a little less, it's $64,506. What appears to be the surplus in support services. A lot of that is because we had 2 vacant dispatchers for the year, for almost the year, which now are full. We have two dispatchers in training, which is an additional expense for us right now, because now instead of 2 dispatchers in a room, we have 3, so we're paying for extra personnel every day. But it's gonna pay off enormously once we get to full staff. And then on the overtime line item, it's a little smaller, but I'm checking about a $9,000 surplus if we continue on the track that we are. And then general expenditures. So this one is a little, obviously, there's some negatives here, but we anticipate some of the other accounts, they're across our entire budget to balance this out pretty well. There's some things that we just are anomalies in this budget, things that we probably couldn't have projected or we haven't. The expense of the Daigle report. We have 2 public safety consultant recruitments, it's myself and then for the captain. And then we also, which wasn't funded, is the JTS, the new IT services that we have. We replaced a permanent IT person for a service, and that's not budgeted in general expenditures. We are overspending professional development a little bit, but I anticipated doing that. We're playing a little bit of catch up, and we're also doing some things that I think are necessary and is part of my vision for the police department, like bike patrol, the autism training. We are sending, I'll talk about it in professional development, but we're sending officers to different agencies to shadow certain specialized units to kind of get a little enhanced in their abilities and just exposure, if you will. And then the repairs and maintenance, we kind of knew this was going to happen too. We're negative $34,000 in the repairs and maintenance line item. But we knew we had some expenditures that we had to deal with, mainly HVAC. Seems to be our issue right now, which we have just signed on with a company to do quarterly preventive maintenance. And so that hopefully that resolves some of these problems, or at least we have a better idea of condition of our building going forward, at least for the HVAC system. We're gonna have to do that for a lot of different things. There's some fencing that's falling down that we're gonna have to try to address in the next fiscal year. There was some electrical work, there was some plumbing work that we had to, a broken spigot that we had to address, and there's some pavement work. So building maintenance is a difficult one to project, at least it was for me, and I think in next year's budget, I think we kind of handle it a little better, but we have a better idea of what we need. Moving on to the, yes,
If I can interrupt, will the consultant on the HVAC address the need for more heat in the holding area?
yeah, so that was yes, good point. So that was essentially a computer or programming issue, where we didn't have 2 systems where they weren't talking to each other. So the zones and the dampeners and everything else, they really weren't working. And that's not the only space in the building. There's some, if you walked into the lobby, at some points it could be 100 degrees. It was like a dumping zone for the heat, and then you go and lock up and there was 0 heat. So I think we did rectify that. That was costly. It was a new computer, a new program, and there's 2 different vendors for that. So the mechanical vendor and the computer programming for the HVAC are 2 separate entities, which isn't great. But it's how it was built out and it's how we're dealing with it right now. I'm hoping this new HVAC company can maybe get a better understanding of all of it, but they don't service the electrical components, because it's just stuff that it's not a brand that they service. So we're kind of held hostage with that a little bit, but I think we do have that rectified.
Do you anticipate that we're going to end in the black, considering all the surpluses against all of the deficits?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a surplus. Yeah,
Okay,
we'll be returning money, and, you know, it's really the building expenses that are the heavy ones right now. Everything else we can control our spending, we don't need to be spending when we don't have the money essentially. The buildings are the ones that are kind of, we don't have a choice sometimes.
thank you.
Next. And then off budget accounts. There really wasn't a lot of movement here. We did have some expenditures which were approved, last, budget meeting or, police commission meeting. There was one I wanted to draw your attention to, though, the, driver safety fund. We were approved for, it was about $9,000.
9330, yeah.
Yeah, 9330. When we placed that order, placed that, we did that quote based on, I guess, last year's models. When we went to go buy the bikes, they were no longer available and the price went up. So we spent, more than we thought, but we have bike patrol coming, the school, and I wanted to make sure we had the bikes. So we did spend the money, but I wanted to make sure you knew that we spent an additional $1,460 that we didn't anticipate there. But it was one of the situations where if we would have to cancel the bike patrol training if we didn't have the bicycles. So it was essentially the inflation on the bikes is what it was for the next model year. For it's times 5 bikes.
Any tariffs on those?
That might be the case. That very well might be it. Everything else we spent as projected and as approved.
So are we closing out the police insurance exchange?
Yeah,
It's been closed.
yeah, that one's close.
Okay.
So we no longer have access to that. All right, personnel matters. I have great news. This morning, Officer Rachel Simpson had a healthy baby girl, Kennedy. Obviously, the father is also one of ours, Detective Simpson, Jimmy Simpson. Everybody's doing well, and we added another child to our OSPD family. Everybody's healthy and doing well.
That's great.
A great message you get this morning.
That's
We knew she was getting close, but we just weren't sure.
really appreciate it.
She is early, I think. Yeah.
So that's good. It's great news, and he's happy everybody's doing well. They did select an officer of the year, but I don't really want to announce the name right now because it's somewhat of a surprise for the officer. So we will be participating in. I'll send everybody an email. Probably the best way to put that out there. We will be participating in the Exchange Club Officer of the Year, and I think they have a little bit of a ceremony of the duties, right? Like a dinner, they invite the officer, kind of surprising. And so that's what we'll do, and I'll send the name out and the reasons that I selected that officer by way of email.
Do we know when that might be, that event?
That was in late May, right? It's coming up,
So, yeah.
and I'll let you know. I'll send the date too, because there's 2 layers to that. There's our local, where we just, present our officer and tell him that he's won this, or is being commended. And then there's the state does one for all the officers. I think that's at Aqua Turf, sometime in the summer. You have the professional development? All right. Professional development. Did quite a bit this month, and some of this is stuff we just didn't talk about in the past. So Officer Fox, he attended the A-Ride program. That's advanced roadside impaired driving enforcement. All of our officers have to get certified in this. It's kind of the new method, new ways for DUI enforcement. It's a program that's developed by the NHTSA. Course trains officer how to observe, identify, and articulate the signs of impairment related to drug, alcohol, or combination of both. So we're getting a lot of drug driving now, so that's why the A-Ride is a necessary component. Officer Rachel Simpson and Costick both attended trauma-informed policing training. This course helps officers identify and respond appropriately to trauma in their daily interactions with community members. It helps reduce harm and avoid re-traumatizing individuals, increases community trust, increases officer wellness, and improves public safety. And we're gonna be expanding upon that with our training, at the Cape, with Blue Bridge training for the autism awareness training. And I'll be putting out, a press release for that, this week, just to announce, the training. We're gonna send invitations out to our local agencies. All first responders in Old Saybrook are invited, all of our surrounding agencies will be invited. The public will be invited, as well as the police commission. So, there's 260 seats that we can fill, so I think
Yeah.
we'd like to fill as many as we can. So Officer Thomas and Officer Malfalmi, attended the safe boating certificate, class, which is necessary for all of our officers to have, safe boating, certificates. And now, EMDQ, medical dispatch, quality assurance training was attended by dispatcher Offner and dispatcher Adams. So that's really our quality control piece for our dispatchers. So they're listen to the recorded 911 calls and essentially critique each other and come up with where we did well, where we had some deficiencies, and it gives us a baseline for our training for dispatchers. We have 8 officers enrolled in the EMT course now. That's actively happening. That is Sergeant Mora, Officer Costick, Officer DeFrance, Officer Egan, Officer Solano, Officer Moriarty, Officer Ciscato, and Officer Rankin. So that's great. We're gonna be getting those numbers up. By next year, we'll have half the department certified as EMTs. In bike patrol, 2 officers will be attending bike patrol in Western Rhode Island to be certified bike patrol operators. That'll happen in May. And then we're gonna be sending a few other officers in June to a same course, but it'll be at Quinnipiac University.
Do you know who those officers are?
These ones, we haven't assigned them yet. So I wanted to get 2 officers certified before Celebrate Saybrook. So this Lieutenant Velardo found that Wesley was giving a course. So today, as it was enroll them, I want to make sure we're using these bicycles, and I didn't really want to wait till late June. So we found a course, and 2 officers so there's officers volunteered for that training. There's about 6 officers that volunteered, so we're gonna use that list, but I don't have it with me right now. So that's it for professional development. The activity report, there really wasn't any great outliers. We're kind of still trending the same way we are. No peaks or valleys that I really could see. Where I do see, I still don't like the frauds. I think it actually was a reduction of 7 in April. But I think we need to address that. I know the new captain coming in, one of his missions and one of his goals is to start to have a community information session monthly. And fraud awareness is one of the things that we're gonna be tackling in there, so we gotta start educating everybody. Yeah.
I know I get regularly from a vendor to the town. Scam protection things. I don't know if the other commissioners get that.
I've not, I delete it.
Maybe I get it because I'm on the zoning board of appeals, but there is a town provider. Who could, I would think, it wouldn't be much more.
No, yeah, we contract for
Or
it.
expand that list.
We just paid $7,000 for it. Check the PD and anybody that wants those services that are on commissions in town. So yeah, it is available. I could email everybody the links for that. It's necessary. I mean, these frauds and these scams are really evolving. They can do a lot right now, and it changes every day, and we have to kind of stay on top of it and re-educate ourselves on what the latest scam is and how they can get access to digital currency and such. But yeah, to safeguard yourself and make sure you're getting those alerts, and usually they're just notifications that somebody has inquired something on your account or has tried to run your credit or access something.
Are you talking about the thing that comes up scam of the week?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, yes, I get
All right,
that.
I'm seeing something different.
I think that comes with the town email.
Email.
I think so,
Yes.
yes. They're
Um,
actually good to read.
So the only thing I wanted to kind of address in the stats, because there really wasn't nothing great, in terms of peaks and valley, but we are seeing a little bit of reduction in our motor vehicle enforcement over the last couple of months, and I am tracking that. I don't want you to think that I'm ignoring that. Officers are trying to use their vacation time right now, because come July, they lose it, they don't use it. So is that component where we don't have as many personnel out there. A lot of times when you have four officers assigned to a shift, one will be on special enforcement, and usually that's some sort of motor vehicle enforcement. So I think there's a little less of that going on right now, as officers are trying to use their time. But we are seeing over the last 4 months, slight reduction in the enforcement activity. And it's something I'm gonna continue to monitor, and if I have to have a conversation with officers, I will. Their numbers are still good. In my mind, they're still being very active out there. They're doing what we ask them to do on assignments and special details. But the numbers are showing a slight reduction. So we're gonna continue to monitor that, and I don't wanna make a snap judgment on that, but if the numbers still continue to decline, we're gonna try to talk to the supervisors and get it over.
Well, it's those signs at Main Street, it's the thing, and the placard on Main Street, it's making all.
Is everybody slow down? Everybody's getting
I
educated.
mean, that's a good thing, kind of.
This is true. Let people pull over, right?
Right.
So I'll go with that. That's the activity for the update in the golf cart license plate. So you guys voted. We have 4 winners. Was it 1 from each grade? Is that how we did it? It really came out pretty beautiful. And we have the plates are gonna be made with the winner's name on it, and they're gonna have their own little plate, like a customizable plate for them. As like a little, I guess memento or trophy. And then we're gonna give them, gift cards for ice cream too, for the 4 winners. We're gonna present that, at the Goodwood Gathering, which is their monthly, the assembly at the school, where the whole school gets together, so. The next Goodwood Gathering, we'll, call 4 winners and we'll let you guys know if you wanna attend.
Yeah, that was nice.
So it'd be cute. So that was a great idea. They came out well. Kids put a lot of effort into it, and
Yeah, that was nice.
yeah, but we'll do that every year. I think that's something that we should stick with. The fleet update. So we were able to take advantage of 2026 pricing for our entire purchase, which I didn't think we were gonna do. Just a few weeks ago, the vendor that has the state bid, North Sullivan Northwest Hills, got a hold of us and said, wanted to make me aware that he kind of retracted some statements that he originally said that he couldn't order the 26 and the color and the option package that we needed. And originally we were planning on waiting for the 27 model to be released so we can get the cars that we needed to match our fleet. He said that now you can get what we needed. So I talked to Carl and Leanne, the finance director, and we presented that to the Board of Finance the other night to purchase 6 additional patrol vehicles, ordering 2026 models, which are at a 2.5% reduction from what we would pay if we went for the 27 models, and they're the same cars. So the Board of Finance approved it, Carl and Leanne acted quickly, they got the financing in order, and we were able to order, draft a PO late last week to order these 6 additional cars. So we have 9 cars on order.
Well, that's great.
So-
That is fabulous.
Yeah, so it's good. It was, and it was a savings. So we'll be in good shape. I think we'll have a couple cars circling probably in June, and then the rest of the fleet will probably come in more like August.
And then how long to outfit them?
It's about 2 weeks per car. The shop we're using is a local vendor. It's AEP on Mill Rock. He could probably do 2 or 3 cars at a time. He's not an enormous shop, but he's not tiny. The DOT uses them. But he's not gonna get everything done in 2 weeks. But we'll get some cars out there this summer. It'll really put us in a good situation with our fleet. So I think that's all I have for executive report.
Can I just ask one thing, not about the drug buyback, but the medication box. Do you
Yeah.
wanna just maybe touch on that? Cause I think that's such a great thing.
Yeah, so this weekend, Youth and Family, they were out in front of the building, they were advertising it, the start of our drug box. It's in the lobby of the police headquarters, and then that's for anybody that wants to drop off, unused, unwanted, prescription medicine. And you can drop it off anytime. We don't monitor it, we don't ask them, they can drop it off, and it's like a mailbox, they just dump it in there. Then we dispose of it. So Youth and Family set up a table all day Sunday, they were advertising it. They filled up our box 6 times.
Wow.
So a lot of people that took advantage of it, cleared out the medicine cabinet, which is great, because we don't want those medicines out there that, have no use for people, because they just sometimes fall in the wrong hands, used for the wrong purposes. So it was taken advantage of.
This is
And
better
it'll
than
continue.
going over to True Beth.
Yes, yeah, right, so you don't go on the highway, because that was the other option. So now we have it in town. Quarterly, we'll bring it to the state and then dispose of it and burn it. But it's a nice option for our residents to have.
So the box is gonna stay
Yes, permanently, it's fixed,
permanently?
permanently fixed there. We're using our DEA license to have it.
That's
And
yeah.
it looks like a mailbox right in the lobby. You
Yeah.
come in, it's well marked, kind of explains what it is and how to use it. And then just dump the medicines in there. The only thing we do ask for the public is try to eliminate as much of the cardboard and things that may come along with the prescriptions. If we can just get them in either the pill bottles or sandwich bags, or however we can consolidate a little bit. Because it does fill up quick, and if we just have a lot of cardboard dumped in there or packaging, it doesn't help the cause.
That's fantastic.
It's nice because you like put it in and then it's not like somebody could reach their hand in. Like once you put it in, it drops down and there's like a thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a more secure mailbox.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you couldn't have.
Like like one of those blue mailboxes that you couldn't put your arm down.
Should
You
people
have to be
be,
an octopus.
Exactly, yeah.
should people be redacting their personal information or,
I personally would.
yeah,
You don't have to, because we're gonna destroy it.
okay,
I would tear the label off.
okay.
So, the only caveat to that is if you're transporting narcotics, I would tear the label off.
All right,
So
Yeah.
if you're getting rid of Percocets and things like that, I would maybe wait till you're in the headquarters to, yeah.
okay.
Oh, okay, no, I get what you said, right, it wasn't.
Like,
It's tough, that's fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
It's
just
fine.
go for the big one.
That's okay.
But I think that's all we have for executive report.
Thank you.
Okay,
Great stuff.
okay, the next item was something that Jackie had mentioned back in the fall. And sorry, we're just getting around to it. It's discussion regarding the formation of a communications committee. Did everybody get the email that I sent out?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Jackie, I don't know if you want to take the floor on this and.
Yeah, sure. So, one of the things that I thought would be something proactive for our commission would be to have, a select group of people that would be interacting with the chief and then disseminating information back to us. And that way it kind of, basically allows more of a fluid transfer of information. And if we need to go into like executive session, or it's something that we wanted to make public and invite, an officer in or a dispatch person, where you know about it. And I just think it's a good way of just streamlining communication, make it open and consistent,
Mhm.
so. That was really about it, and it's for all good things, like you talked about, the letters acknowledging the officers for a good job, well done. Those are just things that, communication stuff.
Yeah, and some of our press releases might be relevant.
Yeah,
Like the training of the Kate, so I could use, we'll be welcome another set of eyes on some of this stuff
Yeah.
before we push them out, so not a bad thing.
I think collaborating between, you and your team and us, I think would be really helpful and beneficial for both sides. So.
Yeah, and I'm not saying there's a problem, I think the entire commission has been great with me in terms of communicating and, me keeping you in the loop and you keeping me in the loop and, just kind of being transparent with everything.
Yeah.
So the communication has been good, but I do see the value in this.
Well, that's good. So, I would hope that my fellow commissioners would support that and the only thing that,
I confess to having some reservations.
oh, okay, that's all right. In what regard?
Well, take it point by point. We have a bylaw that deals with subcommittees.
Right, I do have that written down, bylaws with question mark, so I was a step ahead on that.
And under that, the vice chair is the chair of all the subcommittees. So I assume you want two other members.
Mhm.
The bylaws currently address the receipt and acknowledgement and basically processing of communications. It's the correspondence bylaw that we have. And happily, we don't have very much correspondence coming into the commissioners these days. We used to have a ton. And under the bylaws, I would get it, I would acknowledge it, I would, if it wasn't already distributed to everybody, I'd distribute it to everybody. And if there were things that I thought, or anybody thought needed to be on the agenda, we would put them on the agenda and discuss them as a commission. I think that's preferable to having a subcommittee, deal with it separately and kind of off the books, frankly. I don't think that's good. Coordinating with Chief Onofrio, I think that's something that we need to have at these meetings rather than in a subgroup.
Well, I think it's more of an addition to, I wouldn't say it's a single out that only the select group and then report back. I think it's more of that collaboration back and forth. I don't know that it's
Well,
projected to be viewed in that regard.
when it says develop an action plan for each communication, initial receipt, scope assessment and conclusion, that sounds to me like the sort of thing that the commission as a whole ought to
Right.
deal with.
And again, this is just a first out of the gate, so there's
Okay.
always room to either amend or talk about it more and come up with something that's maybe more finite or more something that's generic and benign versus something that's so structured and rigid.
Yeah, I thought that was part of my objection to this. This seemed to me to be just adding a layer of bureaucracy
Right,
that
so
we
again, it's just
need.
something that we could all talk about and, decide how will it incorporate within our bylaws so that we're not having an adverse effect on what we've already established. And you guys worked very hard at that even prior to me being on the commission, so that's something that we are not gonna tangle with.
And the one that I really had the greatest difficulty with was reading relevant written communications at our regular meetings. My recollection is that when we had some hot topics, we got lots of self-serving correspondence. That sure we circulated, but especially, running up to an election or running up to an issue like the problems that surrounded the former administration. There was a lot of stuff that I think would have just been fuel on a fire if we had been reading it out loud, because it's going to, provoke a reaction on the other side, and then you have a back and forth. And, I don't want to see police commission meetings turned into Facebook, and the kind of vitriol that.
I think we're a little beyond. I would hope, as a board.
Well, yeah, but the board changes. It changes every 2
Right,
years.
and that's, we haven't even gotten to that. Is this something that would be annual? Is it just something for the term of one commission until it follows on to the next, again, infant stage.
Well, you would have to have a subcommittee because you can't, we can't converse with each other more
Right.
than one on one.
Exactly.
So chain emails and stuff like that are just not approved.
So Jackie.
They're open to FOIA and everything is open to FOIA, your whole, everything.
Your whole life is.
So if you're, these group chats and things can't happen. Everything should happen in public at a public meeting.
I like the transparency aspect of what you're doing. I
Mhm.
think you just need some fine tuning, like you said.
Yeah.
Because I do think transparency is really important in the setting.
Yeah,
So I like that. I hear what you're saying, but I really like the idea of potentially opening it up and talking about it publicly. I
okay.
think it just has to be refined a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to
Do
make
a
sure we're in
deeper dive
compliance.
into it and make
Yeah.
sure, again, we're in. Not doing anything against the bylaws.
Well, I mean, we had worked really hard on that correspondence bylaw. And it was before your time on this. So I have objections to it as well, and for many of the same reasons that Chubb outlined. But even as far as the reading of letter or correspondence at our meeting, there are people who may just want to share something with us that don't want it talked about publicly or presented publicly. If they wanted that, they would probably go to social media, but instead they're writing directly to us. So I'm opposed certainly to that one. But I'm thinking that I find this to be another layer that isn't necessary, and quite frankly, I'm a little confused by what I thought was originally the intent of this versus what the chief had described when you were talking about it before. When you were saying that it would be an extra set of eyes,
Yeah, I was thinking
I'm not
more
quite sure I
along the,
understand that.
well, in terms of more of communication, press releases and getting feedback on those type of things before we push them out.
Okay, well, that's different than I think what you're suggesting as far as correspondence is concerned.
Well, again, this is something that's brand new, so there's always going to be areas that we can make adjustments to. It's a start of something, that's all it is.
So Jackie, what were you thinking? Like, would you like to have a subcommittee where this kind of gets hammered out? Or do we do a special meeting where we all sit and go through this? I like the chief's idea, which I kind of think is what you're kind of leaning towards, where we work collaboratively with a lot of the information that goes out to the public
Right.
also. I think. I'm not
Right,
speaking
and
for you.
and I appreciate that. I just think at this point in time, when there's a lot of good things that are happening now. And I would really like the fact of us sharing that and. A lot of things that are happening and then we see it in a press release and that's great, but I think that there's maybe some room for other things as well. So that's really the point that I was just trying to make it more of a soft intro and allow our board to go through it and, accept everyone's feedback and input and work from the ground up. And if it is something that's beneficial and it would be of assistance, then great. If it's not, then that's okay too. But it's an idea that at least we can expand upon. And that's really all it is. I mean, I feel sometimes we are so used to things that our growth can be a little bit more widened.
I agree with that part of getting all of our good stuff out there, getting our good press
Yeah,
out there,
yeah.
because we dealt with a lot of bad press for quite a while.
Yeah.
So.
When we get to item 9 on the agenda, I'll speak to this also.
So Renee, I think it's almost like almost like a marketing component is the way I was kind of almost understanding it is, we're assisting to potentially with social media and, the messaging to the public on some of the positive things and then potentially getting ahead of some of the negative things is kind of how I was understanding it. So at least we have a unified voice from the commission and me. So we're all not pushing out something different. Kind of how I was.
Right,
more.
oh, no, I'm
Yeah.
not looking to rewrite a bylaw or.
No,
anything.
I
don't
made
think
that
that's
very
fair.
clear on the onset.
Right.
that You guys worked very hard on these bylaws and that is not an issue that's going to be addressed for this particular suggestion. And that's what it is. It's a suggestion. It's growth. It's improvement. It's something that is bilateral for us.
I love the idea of sharing more with everybody in town. I think if we can do that, and highlight the good that's happening, it's clearly happening.
Yeah.
This, you know, it's a wonderful thing if we can do that. As effectively as possible with
Yeah.
the bylaws.
And not a lot of people, I mean, the vast majority of people do tend to lean towards social media, but there are people in town that don't have social media. So, you know,
Yeah.
you're kind of, yes, that population may be a small percentage, but it does exist.
We're now getting training and suggestions from our public information people that train us. They want us to really put our press releases out through social media, and they historically what we do is you have an email thread of press list, we call it,
Mhm.
and you create a press release and you would send it out to all these emails of every reporter or news agency in the area. They don't really want us doing that anymore. I still do it because I don't want to lose those connections. But they want you to put it on the social media page and they want everybody to be attracted to that and the news to pick it up from there. That's the guidance we're getting now. There's a lot of ADA compliance things too that we have to make sure that we're understanding and doing correctly. Like we can't post a PDF, a press release on, say, Instagram, because somebody with a reading device that can't see, the reading device doesn't read that. It's just a picture essentially in computer terms. You know, a computer wouldn't read the picture, but it would read a document. So we have to make sure we're ahead of the curve and doing things properly and best practices with a lot of communication, so. I'm not opposed to having a discussion. There's definitely could be some benefits to it. So I have to kind of narrow it and what the focus is and.
Yeah,
what we're
So
gonna-
what if we were to call it more like a public relations? I'm not even saying necessarily committee, but a group of people that works on the public relations side of things. Does that
Yeah.
sum it up a little bit or no?
I think that's a fun.
Yeah, I think
like
that
that.
the public relations piece,
But using a lot
Works.
of Jackie's ideas.
I don't wanna get the correspondence part included in this, though. To me, I think they're two very separate things.
Yeah, I like that suggestion.
I think that's a good term because it's more what our focus is,
Right.
public.
Mhm.
Our
I
time.
didn't think the correspondence piece was gonna be so-and-so sent an email, you know.
No, I thought it was
so-and-so. I thought it was
more
more
like
generic,
the-
but,
The saying,
Yeah.
or if somebody,
you know, that we've addressed these, you know, these notices from citizens, and
Mhm.
That could be a newsletter.
much more generic.
Yeah,
It could be assistance with say a monthly newsletter time or something like that, you
Yeah.
know, just community briefing
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why I kind of said it's very benign. It's not subjective to pinpoint or identify a specific person or piece of mail. It's just something that's overall accepting to the public, from the public to us.
Mhm.
So that's, I think, public relations is a great way. And again, this is what I mean. We're talking about it. We're growing as a group. We're figuring things out and not just being dismissive and saying, well, no. And that, I think that's where we need to work a little towards.
So can Jackie and I talk about this on our own or no?
Well, do you wanna bring it back again?
We can, no, we can
The
bring it
two of
back in,
you-
but I'd like everybody to look at this. In the meantime, do the homework and kind of fine tune and come back with some other ideas. Yeah, I don't wanna just totally dismiss this and. At all, because I do think getting all of our good information out is very important.
Would you guys be willing to, what would work best for you, to come back or just to meet and have like a roundtable discussion, what works best?
We'd have to call like a special
Special meeting, yeah.
Well, my idea would be just to have the two of you sit down, figure this out. Much more aligned with the community,
Whatever I'm
public
thinking.
relations
Okay,
piece. Because so much of this in here is really addressing correspondence.
okay.
And I can't.
No, that's good. That's what that's what we're working towards.
I just don't want to be totally dismissive of somebody's idea, you know, like when Jackie brought this to me, there's a lot of good stuff, and like I said, the correspondence thing, I don't wanna go down that road ever again.
Yeah.
I don't wanna go down bylaws ever again, but yeah, no,
From what I
fine
understand,
with
that's on that topic, so.
Yep, no, I'm good with doing that,
Okay,
and then we can report back.
is everybody else okay with that?
I think,
Sure,
Okay.
yeah.
I
Yep.
think working on public relations is good.
Good, perfect.
Okay, next, per recommendations update, Keith, are you ready for that?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we've been steadily plugging along. Some of it's just organic, to be honest. You just operate in the police department and just changes and, you know, we're evolving. One of the things that I wanted to address, and one of the biggest concerns in the PERF report was the scheduler for the officers, the electronic scheduler, to have their schedule ahead of time and, you know, access their phone. We're running into a little bit of stumbling block with the software, so I wanted to bring it to the commission to show you up on the screen what it looks like on the phone. More data entry issues we're having right now, but we're working through it and we're hoping to have it, all the quirks worked out of it, essentially next month, and be able to show you what it looks like. But the schedules aren't accurate right now. The officers will do have access to on their phone. Some of the training schedules just aren't updated and it's not reflective of what I want you to see as a finished product.
And you had said last time you wanted to get the information in there, so we actually see it more like a live thing. So-
Yeah, that's what we were working toward, then we started hitting some roadblocks.
Right, no, I'm good with waiting to see it when it's up and.
So that is one of the recommendations of the report, that we get to that point, and so we're working towards that. There was a touch on some of the things that we've, you know, I'm not gonna go down all 31 recommendations, but I'll touch on some of the things that I've seen some improvement and some evolution, and some of this with the administration change that had already been addressed. So some of it just really is directed at the former chief, a lot of these recommendations rather. So we're not gonna really address those because they don't have any bearing on me or the department any longer. So in terms of like the private duty assignments, that was a kind of a hot ticket item, and we're not really having issues with forcing officers or ordering officers to work private duty jobs, traffic related jobs. There's I wouldn't say an abundance of work. There's enough work for the officers to work potentially one every 2 weeks or so, maybe one a week if they want. So we're not in a situation where I haven't been since I got here. We had to order anybody to work anything in terms of extra duty, and we won't unless it's an absolute necessity that it's a public safety concern. I have authorized the use of flaggers with our officers though. So if a construction crew deems it necessary that they're gonna have our officers there, they also want flaggers for that extra level of safety. A lot of times it's like guarding a hole or guarding equipment. I want our officers directing the traffic and managing the flow of traffic and, you know, the public safety aspects. But if they want a couple of extra flaggers, which are not law enforcement, to be on site to add another layer, I'm okay with that and I've authorized that. And it does help the officers a little bit. So that their heads don't have to be on a swivel, they don't have to be looking every which direction, they don't have to be monitoring traffic and monitoring construction crew in the hole and everything else, so it does help, and we've done that. So in number 8, it deals with the competitive promotional exam mission. This one really just deals with detective sergeant. But I think we've corrected that in my eyes. Several months back, I submitted the proposed promotional process to this commission using the rule of 3. And you know, I think we all agree that that's the process we want to use going forward. We haven't had the opportunity to use it yet, but that is what we're going to do going forward, and it was approved by the union. So that is kind of already taken care of in my mind. We have a process and we are gonna be using it. The, there's number 10, it deals with the police commission should lead a conversation with the community, determine how it would prefer the police department enforce laws, tow and unregistered motor vehicles, process adults and juveniles for misdemeanor offenses. In my mind, you all do that every day by speaking to the public, and so do I. Community engagement is one of the biggest things that I bring to this agency. I'm meeting with all our beach associations, I'm meeting with all our civic associations, I'm meeting with all the political associations. And I'm getting that feedback. I'm starting to get an understanding of the community and what their desires are and, you know, their level of need and, want for enforcement in town. So I think that comes naturally and, you know, as we all put ourselves out there and start talking to the communities and kind of understanding what the want and desire is, for our police department. And you feed that back to me and I feed back to you. I think we're naturally gonna just get to that point where we have a better understanding of what the needs are. In terms of, number 12, the police department should delegate scheduling authority to sergeant, master sergeants, and lieutenants. We have done that. Right now, Lieutenant Millardo, handles the officer schedules and, assists with communications and, supervisor dispatcher Adam does the dispatchers. That might transition to our new captain, but the scheduling isn't gonna be a component that comes out of my office. It's gonna be the lieutenant or the captain in terms of the operational piece of the schedule. I do monitor the overtime expenses and filling of vacancies and hiring additional resources and personnel, but that really comes under more of a fiscal management piece than a scheduling of resources. Number 19, deals with, should the police department continue to monitor whether changes to report writing requirements, add efficiencies and make officer jobs a tad bit easier. We've done a lot of that. So I allow the officers to do, so now, instead of writing the incident report on everything, as long as they're being thorough and they're adding the right, information into our system, I allow them to use what's called CAD notes, for certain incidents that don't require a full-blown report, just in spirit of time management, and I don't want the officers bogged down with unnecessary report writing. When you're writing on something that's really not relevant, it's never gonna be read, and it doesn't deal with any liability or police operations or function. So allow them to write, CAD notes in there, and a lot of it is, like burglar on car, you go there and, determine if it's false alarm, and you met the homeowner. You can put those two sentences in CAD remarks without doing a full narrative, report that's gonna take an officer a half hour, 45 minutes to do. So, by doing CAD notes and taking 2 minutes and they're back on the road. And you're getting all the same information in there. As long as it's retained in the system, I'm fine with it. I think it's morale boost for the officers too. They don't want unnecessary work either.
You must love that.
Yeah, I think it was.
Sounds like an intro to AI reporting.
Yeah, so that has been brought up. So, State Attorney Gaylor actually, brought it up. So there is AI software that essentially dictates a report based on what it sees on the body camera. So I think it's absolutely wild. I haven't seen it in use yet, but he was kind of giving us a heads up, hey, this is coming. This is gonna be the next era of what happens. So it takes the officer's opinion, and observe, you know, and perception of things out of the equation. And it's essentially AI, you know, writing a report based on what is occurring, you know, subjectively. Which I don't have any wrap my head around yet, to be honest, but that's something that's happening.
Yeah.
I think that's a wait and see.
Yeah, I agree. Recommendation 21 deals with, BWC, which is body worn camera policy. So both 21 and 20 deal with body worn camera, and both those have been, addressed and fixed. We now use the state model policy for body worn cameras, and we added a, section into the state policy for, when they're referring to the buffer period, what it is, it's in our system, they call it something slightly different, but it's, called RAFT, it's record after the fact. And we added language in there, pretty much to add to our policy because our systems, I mean, a little different than the states. It's just really telling the officers that your body camera is pretty much always on. It can always be, rewound. Something happened, we could get to it. It doesn't have to be activated. So they know that it's in the policy and it's a continuously, rolling, camera feed if we need it to be. And then we're working on this one too, number 26, the police member should publish policies online, and they're referring to our, standard operating procedure policies. We're working with our software, which is Power DMS, to potentially get that online onto our website. So the public can just search the policies themselves and read them and review them. And it would actually help with FOIA requests. So a lot of the FOIA requests are for policies. And how are they applied and the relevancy to each incident. So we're working on getting that, now that the town has updated all the websites. As soon as that kind of gets worked through, all the draft codes are done, we're gonna work towards, updating it, so we're allowing the public to view our policies online. That's all I really have for perf reports, updates right now. We're just touching on some of them, but I think we're in good shape to accomplish a lot of this.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you for that.
It's like, it seems like you guys have accomplished a lot.
A
in
lot
short
in
time.
short, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next. Discussion and possible action on the 2026 or 2026-27 golf cart registration fees.
So I'd like to make a recommendation if it's okay. I think we should move to make this system a lot easier for us for managing it. Just to move to flat fees, 45 for the custom plate and then 25 flat for regular license golf cart plates. And no reduction for multiple plates or anything like that, because it just complicates the system a little bit and our
Well,
billing.
we did this last year. We voted to exactly present it
Okay,
that way, so
I like it. So I mean, I think it would make it easier if that's.
it is it. Well,
Yeah.
you said, Jen, it was much
It's
easier.
much easier for dispatch of it, yeah.
Yeah, so we continue that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's maybe it will be our suggestion.
So do we need to vote on this because that is our policy? Or our registration program?
The commission sets the fees yearly.
So yearly, okay,
Yeah,
so I
so-
entertain a motion to accept the golf cart registration fees at $45 for a special plate and $25 for each golf cart.
So moved.
A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Perfect. That was right, 45 and 25?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, next we have discussion of possible action to enter into executive session. I'm sorry, I nothing. Pursuant to Connecticut General Statute. It's 200 something, 206A to discuss a personnel matter, and I'd like to invite Chief D'Onofrio in with the rest of the police commission.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay, we're going into executive session.